This is really the first view of Fatlips you get as you're walking up to it, and it's rather beautifully framed, as you see by the trees and plants around it. But you've got to be pretty careful as you're going up here. It's slippy. It's fairly dry today actually, because there's not been an awful lot of rain, but it's slippy here, and you do not want to fall and hit your head on one of these rocks. So if you are going to come here, be careful in the last few meters especially, because you can very easily slide down and do some damage to yourself. But it is worth it once you get up here, because it's a very, very beautiful peel tower. It's a very beautiful day here at Fatlips Castle. This is near Hawick and Denham in southern Scotland, where I always am. And this is Fatlips Castle. As you can see, it's not a real castle, it's actually a peel tower. But it's called Fatlips Castle. You may be wondering at the name. And there's a number of stories, a number of different possible explanations. My favourite one is that travellers would come here, possibly if they were crossing the border, and they would look for a bit of hospitality here at the local peel tower. And the laird of the castle, the laird of the tower, would offer travellers a kiss from one of his daughters. There's a number of stories, but that's my favourite one. This is the plaque here at Fatlips, which tells you about the history. The original peel tower is built by the Turnbulls of Bed Rule in the early 16th century, which is right when, well, just before the height of the Reivers, before being effectively destroyed by the Earl of Hertford in 1545. And it was essentially rebuilt a couple of times, really, or rebuilt in 1857, that is. To a design by Sir Robert Lorimer, who was a famous Scottish architect, and it was used as a museum, and then it was secured and made safe in 2011, and the work is completed in 2013. And what you see there, or some of it, certainly the parapet or the balcony there, is a fairly new, well, not an addition, but a repair, a substantial repair, after it fell into disrepair, literally. There's a very substantial iron yett, or gate here, in front of the door. You can get into it. It is possible to get in if you have the key, but I came here today without getting the key, to be honest. Because you've got to pick it up from a local garage. But you can see how difficult it would be to storm this tower. You would have to make it up Minto crags. Not very easy if somebody was shooting arrows at you. And then you'd have to try to attack the yett, or attack the walls, which would be very, very thick, several feet thick, and get in to the lower, the ground floor. And what you would do, if you could attack the castle, if you were going to try to attack the castle, normally what you'd try to do is you try to smoke out the occupants. So the first windows are the first point of weakness, and they're very high up, very difficult to get to. But what you could do is you could try to set fire to the bottom of the castle. You might set fire to the door, or maybe try to shoot a flaming arrow through any gap in the door, if you possibly could do, and you would smoke out the occupants, who would be up on the higher floors, and that is how you would attack and storm a tower like this, if you possibly could do. Excuse me. I just want to show you the rather magnificent view of the hills around Fatlips, and you can see the river there. That's the Teviot, winding its way through Hawick and Jedburgh through down to Kelso, where it meets the Tweed. And on that hill in the middle there, that is Peniel Hugh, where there's a very beautiful monument, very tall monument. And if we have a look around the edge of the tower, that's the Eildon Hills over there. So we've got a pretty decent view of much of the south of the Scottish borders here, which is presumably why the tower was built here. I really like this tree. It looks as if it's been thoroughly blown from one side to the other, from pretty much the north to the south. There's almost nothing at all on the northern side of the trunk there, which is strange considering you'd think it would be protected from the wind by the tower.